This is Aaron Brightman, Scarlet Faithful Podcast, Wednesday, January 17th, coming to you to preview Rutgers, Nebraska tonight, 7 p.m., Big Ten Network. Obviously, very important game for Rutgers, 1-4 in the Big Ten, in last place, desperately needing to get some momentum, have to defend home court against a team that came to the rack last February and torture from three, was 12 of 28 in that game. CJ Wilcher and Casey Tominaga were combined 9 of 18 from three. And that is a big key in this game as well. Nebraska right now shooting 38.5% from three in Big Ten play, close to 35% for the season. They're a high volume three-point shooting team. 45% of their field goal attempts overall are from behind the arc. They have 8 players that have made at least 10 three-pointers this year. Rutgers has to close out shooters the entire game. 40 minutes. Defense, I know everyone wants to focus on shooting. I focused on the offense yesterday in an episode. Check it out. I really deep dove on some things I think that, are reasons why they've struggled so much and potentially ways that they can improve. And listen, Rutgers has to make shots tonight. They're shooting 2-point shot attempts at a historically low rate in Big Ten play right now, 38.2%. It would be the worst ever, the Ken Palm era, if it continues. Again, just a quarter of the way through the season so far. Something's got to give. You got to make some shots, of course, but for a team that struggles shooting the ball, you can't allow your opponent to come in and make a bunch of threes. Nebraska right now is 13-1 this season when making 8 or more threes. They're 0-3 when they don't. So, and the one game they lost, they allowed a bunch of threes. So that's going to be huge in this game. Can Rutgers keep up from 3-point range? In terms of Nebraska right now, they're 13th in Big Ten play in defensive efficiency. They're 4th in offense. Rutgers is the opposite, last in offense, 3rd in defense. Nebraska this season, let's see, they have some solid wins. They beat Michigan State at home. They beat Kansas State on the road. They beat Indiana at home. They beat Purdue at home in their last home game. On the road, though, different story. Let's see. They are 1-3 on the road. They lost at Minnesota by 11 points. They struggle shooting on the road. Let's see if that matches up in terms of their 3-point struggles. They have struggled on the road shooting the three. The only game they shot well in the three on the road was at Wisconsin, which was a game they lost because they allowed Wisconsin to shoot really well from three as well. Wisconsin was 13 of 26 from three in that game. Nebraska was 12 of 26. But certainly a thread there in terms of, and their last 2 road games, they lost Wisconsin and then Iowa. They shot really poor in their last game, 4 of 26 from three. Obviously, Tominaga, everybody knows him, 6'2" spark plug, plays with a ton of energy. Rutgers has to contain him. How are they going to defend him? Is it going to be a combination of Simpson, Fernandez, and Davis? Probably. I don't think you could put Austin Williams on him. That's just my personal opinion. I think you have to obviously account for CJ Wilcher as well. Mag, who's he going to cover? I mean, this is just not a one pony show for Nebraska. They've really hit the portal hard and done well. Bryce Williams is a wing that has had a really good season. I mean, they right now have, let's see, 5. I mean, they have 5 guys ranked in the top 500 nationally in offensive rating, 3 in the top 200. Tominaga, Juwan Gary, who's been with them, was there last year. He's a wing. He's been super efficient. And then Wilcher has been super efficient as well. He's 56 nationally with 129 offensive rating. They're all shooting really well from 2. Tominaga is 64% from 2. Gary is 62%. Josiah Alec is shooting 57%. Wilcher's shooting 63%, not to mention 3-point range. I mean, these guys are shooting so efficiently. They move the ball really well. Again, Rutgers has to be connected defensively from the start. They have to, Rank Mast is a 6'10" transfer inside from the Netherlands. He is a guy that, Cliff's going to have to contend with. He played at Bradley. He's been very consistent for, Nebraska this year. As a team, they're not a, great rebounding team, just about average. And in terms of turnovers, they don't force a ton. They don't turn it over, but they don't force a ton either. And they don't, block a ton of shots either. So this is a game that Rutgers has to bring the physicality, specifically on the defensive end. Be interesting to see if Rutgers tries to press it all. They've really backed off of that. And they haven't been able to run in transition. So they have to generate something on the offensive end. They need more continuity, as I touched on in yesterday's episode. In terms of the starters, I thought that they started to figure it out a little bit in terms of, their movement, the way they were sharing the basketball a little bit. But there can't be any drop off. And at the end of the day, they have to be smart offensively. They can't just settle for what the defense is giving them. And they're settling for a lot of mid-range jumpers right now, and they're missing them. So can they get 3 looks, off of ball movement? Can they get it off of kickouts? Can they, play a little inside out? I mean, Cliff is going to get doubled, right? Because they're not making anything from outside. Can they get Cliff open in space? Can they, continue to improve and increase their screening actions? Wolf is their best screener. How can they utilize him in this game a little bit more effectively in terms of getting, ways to attack the basket? I think that also, in terms of how they come out in this game, their energy, they have to keep their poise. Hopefully the rec crowd should be crazy. As always, the students are back. This is a game this team has to play within themselves, and they have to play for 40 minutes. We've seen flashes of this team. And we've seen them play a complete game. I mean, look at Seton Hall last night, just blowing the doors off of St. John's. They are on fire. They are 8-1 since Rutgers beat them at the Rock. So this team is capable. They are capable, but it's going to take a complete effort. And they have to just, again, they have to have court awareness, and they have to be smart. They can't rush shots. Both teams play at a very quick pace offensively. Both teams grind you to a halt on the defensive end. That's going to be interesting in this case, in terms of Rutgers can't. It behooves them to make it a rock fight, right? And we know that Rutgers always typically does well in that kind of situation. Nebraska's going to want to get as many shots as possible. And in terms of offensive rebounding, I mean, Rutgers has to get some easy baskets in this game. They have to capitalize on offensive rebounding, and they have to get some second chance points in this game to win. I don't think if they can't win that edge and they can't get double figure second chance points, I don't think they're going to win the game. I think that's a huge key as well. But again, it's having that balance in terms of being able to make threes, keep up with Nebraska. Even if Nebraska makes 8 or 9, can Rutgers make 5 or 6? You can't have a double-digit 3-point margin in this game, and Nebraska can light it up from 3. So I think it really starts there in terms of closing out shooters, being active in defensive end, being able to switch, be able to fight through screens. Nebraska makes the extra pass. Can Rutgers make the extra pass on offense today? Can they get open looks from 3 within the flow of the offense and knocks them down? Hyatt had success against Nebraska last year. He made 5 threes. He scored over 20 points. I think it was 24. So, he's going to have confidence in this game. He's been playing relatively well. Can they get some bench scoring? Can Noah Fernandez and Gavin Griffiths come into the game and make some shots? That's going to be huge. JaMychal Davis, he's struggled a little bit with the ball lately. Can he give them a spark? I think that in terms of Derek Simpson, can he be more of a distributor tonight? Can he let his shot kind of come to him? Can he look to get Cliff involved early? Can he make sure that this team is sharing the basketball and making Nebraska work on the defensive end? Can they get to the free throw line and take advantage of it? Nebraska is a very good free throw shooting team, 75% clip as a team. Rutgers is like 67%, a little bit under. But we know Simpson, Fernandez, and Hyatt have been really efficient at the line this year, all around 80% or better. So can they get the right guys to the line? Cliff's got to stay out of foul trouble. Of course, he's got to get into the flow of the game, but they need him as a rim defender tonight. They need his energy. They need his edge and of course Mag as well, who's been rounding into form a little bit. But I just want to see this team play in a cohesive way together on the floor, be connected for 40 minutes. They need urgency in this game. This is a game where, listen, you win this game, you protect your home court. This team can stick together. They have 2 tough games coming up at Illinois and Purdue at home. You lose this game, you worry things start to unravel a little bit. I've touched on the more manageable schedule coming up after this now 3-game stretch to go. But this is a game where you want to see where this team's head's at. Are they still all in? Because this is a winnable game. This is a winnable game against a good team, KenPom top 50 team. This would be, in terms of KenPom, this actually be their biggest win of the season. So, forget all the quads and all that stuff. The Rutgers just got to win a basketball game, and they need to do it playing well together. They can't try to take matters into their own hands individually. They have to learn how to win together in this game. And again, if they can have a lead down the stretch, I like their chances in terms of, milking it down the free throw line. They have to defend without fouling, because Nebraska will make you pay. If Nebraska gets into the bonus with, 10 minutes to go in either half, that's going to be a recipe for disaster. So pace of play, taking care of the basketball, and just keeping their heads about them, playing with purpose, sticking to the game plan. And you can't let, honestly, with Nebraska, it's like you got to pick your poison a little bit. You, of course, don't want Toby Naga to go off, but it's not just him. You have to be able to contain this team from behind the arc as a whole, and they have to have awareness, and they have, especially in transition. They got burned against Michigan State transition threes. They have to have better awareness in this game. So I'll leave it at that. Plenty to cover. Hopefully we have a happy, rapid reaction later tonight. Stay tuned for that. If you didn't see my episode or listen to my episode on just my deep thoughts on the Rutgers offense right now, please check that out. Appreciate all the support, and have a great Wednesday.